Good afternoon, everyone. Privileged today to have in our office Shawn Mitchell. Shawn is the founder and CEO of Modern Mechanical, a leading provider of the residential and commercial mechanical services in Loudoun County, Virginia. Beyond his business endeavors, Mitchell is deeply committed to community service. He has served on the board of directors for the Loudoun County Chamber of Commerce since year 2015 and held the position of chair in year 2022. Mitchell's philanthropic efforts include supporting organizations such as Backpack Buddies Foundation of Loudoun, which addresses childhood hunger, and the Loudoun Habitat for Humanity, where he served on the board. His dedications to community service is also evident through his involvement with the Rotary Club of Broadlands, Dallas South, where he has served as the vice chair of the board of directors and mentors fellow business owners, and I am one of them. Shawn, thank you for being here. I am honored to have you. I know you own 4 companies and you are very, very busy, but I was able to take from your time today 30 minutes. Tell me a little bit, how did you get first involved in Rotary in general?
Sure, Natasha. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. We all know how deeply involved you are as well in the community, and so we really appreciate it. My philosophy is people like to do business with folks they know, like, and trust. And so the more people you can get to know, the greater the opportunity it is for them to like you and then trust you with their business. And I see that in the exact same way with Rotary and our nonprofit community. I got asked, so I've been a Rotarian for 15 years. I was in a lead chair with Nancy Pav, and Nancy, and there was a number of people in the lead chair that were looking at chartering a brand new Rotary Club called the Rotary Club of Ashburn. And Nancy invited me to come to a meeting. And I kind of knew what Rotary was. I won a Rotary scholarship when I was in high school from our local club. And I always associated Rotary kind of with like the Kiwanis Club. And I didn't realize how different they are. And so Nancy invited me. I got into Rotary. I really enjoyed all the people that were there, and there's still a number of folks that are in our club now, 15 years later, that were part of that original Ashburn chartering in 2010. And so it's been great. It's been really, really great. Being part of Rotary, I came in. I was membership chair. I was on the foundation committee. Then I was sergeant at arms one year, and then I became vice president and then president of Ashburn, and then I became an area director for the area that the Ashburn Club was in, and then an assistant governor, and then a lieutenant governor, and then I got to after that I got to help charter the Broadlands Club that we're now members of. So.
Yeah, it is a great Rotary, and I'm part of it too with Shawn, so we love what we do. What was the most memorable project or event you have participated in during all these years? Like, is that some project or any event that you remember you said, oh guys, this was a really memorable event,
Yeah, I think that the most memorable event for me, I don't know, there's a few. There really is. We had the first year when we really blew Mardi Gras out of the water.
Yes.
And then Mardi Gras is one of our signature projects that supports survivors of human trafficking. And it helps give them an economic boost in South America and South Africa. And so we had one year, we blow it out of the water every year now, but it was the first year we did really, really well. And we collected like 4,000 bras, and we raised $10,000, and we made such a tremendous impact. And nonprofit Free the Girls sent a personal note, and they were just like, you guys really did amazing work this year, and the letter said, hey, you really helped save 180 women and children. And you think about that, like, you know, saving 180 women and children with us just, you know, kind of going about our lives and having a project. And it's not a big lift. The project's not a big lift, but that was a really big one. We, prior to you coming into Rotary, we had a project where we bought a van for an orphanage in Ukraine, and they had no way to transport the children around in Ukraine, and so they were very limited. They couldn't get the children to school, and we did a global grant, and we bought a van for this orphanage, and that was pretty cool. And I got one more I want to mention. So we had a student that came in, and she supported all things Kenya, and Kenya was a really big, and I don't know what her connection was to Kenya, but she had a big thing with Kenya. And so in Kenya, the kids could go to school for free. So they had state-sponsored schools. They could go to school for free, but the requirement was you had to buy a uniform. You had to wear a uniform to go to school. And so we had these hundreds of kids in these multiple villages that did not attend school because they couldn't afford to buy the uniform to be a student. And so we came in and we did a grant and we raised funds and we bought them all uniforms. So that was a really cool one too.
Wow. And I know Mardi Gras is one of the big things that we enjoy every year. Like you said, the impact behind it, that what is the key really. How has being a Rotarian impact your personal or professional life?
Well, I mean, professionally, it's really easy professionally because, you know, Rotarians are the cream of the crop. I mean, you meet somebody and they're like, I'm a Rotarian, you already know that they're a good person, they have good, high ethics. They're the cream of the crop in the business community. And if you look at our, you know, Loudon has, I think, 5 Rotary clubs. If you look at the people that are members of those clubs, they really are the top folks. I mean, all the board members of nonprofits, and the chamber, and economic development, and all these things. And so just being involved, I think, kind of elevates your brand as a person. But it puts you in the room with the people you want to talk to, the people you want to have conversations with, and the people you want access to that are part of your community leaders, and also the access to elected officials. And really, before I was in Rotary, I knew of the local electoral system, right? I knew we had a school board, I knew we had a board of supervisors, I knew we had delegates, I knew we had senators, but I didn't really know like how it all worked and who did what. and being part of Rotary and having these folks come in, and you know, at the time it was Senator Mark Herring was a big supporter of our club when we first started in Ashburn, and he would talk about General Assembly, and then he got elected to be Attorney General, and he'd come in and he'd talk to us as the Attorney General, and so that was really, really great. And then even like, I mean, all the other folks over the years, and you just learn like, all right, Board of Supervisors, they do this, and there's been a lot of previous Board of Supervisor members that were former Rotarians, which I think is really kind of neat. Yeah. But you know, they have that, and so professionally, it puts you in a great spot. I mean, personally, you know, you get to do these projects. What I love about Rotary, the main reason I joined and I really fell in love with it, is it's really hard to know where you want to spend your time with nonprofits. And we have 1,000 different ways that we can serve in this county. And I loved it with Rotary because it's like, hey, I get to work with a different nonprofit every single month. You know, I get to do something different every month, and I get exposure to, one month it's Loudon Habitat for Humanity, one month it's Loudon Abused Women's Shelters, then it's Loudon Hunger Relief, Then it's, the Backpack Buddies program. It's United Way, it's Blue Cross, or the National Red Cross. I mean, it's just different groups that you get this exposed. You are in one organization, Rotary, but then because you're in Rotary, you get exposure to all these other nonprofits that maybe in your normal professional walk you wouldn't hear of, you wouldn't know. And so I love that. And then of course, it feels good to do good things, right?
Absolutely. We know on anywhere you are, organization or businesses, we have a challenge. What are some of the biggest challenges Rotary faces in achieving their goals? Like during these 15 years, I'm sure you probably get a challenge and you had like a mission or something you want to do and you got challenged on. What can you share with us some of these stories?
I can, and I'll speak a little more broadly because when I say broadly of all the Rotary clubs maybe in our district that we have, and there's 54, 56 clubs that are in our district, and so I kind of feel like, and I'm going to brag a little bit, I kind of feel like the Rotary Club of Providence, we've kind of solved these challenges. We don't have these challenges anymore. We have new challenges, which are great challenges, which is how to spend our money and what nonprofit to pick and where are we going to have this meeting, right? But Rotary in general, part of the biggest challenges was there was this preconceived notion that people in certain age groups joined Rotary for these reasons, and it was, if you're 40 years or younger, you join Rotary to have the networking and mentor aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And there wasn't a whole lot of folks that fell into that category. And then you'd have the 40 to 60, and that 40 to 60 really joined Rotary for the service project opportunity, the opportunity to give back to their community, to do service projects, some of them to write checks, but whatever they could to give back. And then you have the 60 plus, and sometimes maybe 65 plus, and it's all about the social aspect. It's all about just getting together, having friends, telling stories, having a beer, having that social part of it. And so the challenge that happens is what people that are in different groups will kind of pull together, and then you end up having a club that's all 65 plus, or you have a club that's 40 to 60, or 60 minus, or whatever it might be, and they have different, they have young children, they have those things, and so it's hard to get that cohesion around your members. And I think what we've done really well at our club is we offer multiple options for people to attend meetings, to serve, to have happy hour, to do projects, and then we also offer people, hey, what are you passionate about? Bring it to us and let's take a look at it. How can we help, right? And I think that's been really, really great. I think that was a challenge to begin with, and now it's not. Another challenge of Rotary was people had this conception that Rotary was, old white guys.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I was one of them long time ago, not anymore.
It's like, hey, Rotary's just a bunch of old white guys, and it's really, if you have a good, healthy club, it reflects the diversity of your community, and I think our club is very, very diverse.
Oh yeah, and very diverse.
We might have more women than men at this point, if I think about it, but it's very even, it's very diverse. It does reflect our community at large with our membership, and we continue to, and I think that's why we continue to grow our membership because of that reason. And we joke and say this isn't your grandfather's Rotary Club, but the purpose is still to do great things, to do good in your community, do good in your country, and do good internationally, right? And so that's that singular focus of Rotary, but it's a lot easier when you have a very diverse population of folks that come from it from different ideas, different backgrounds. So.
And the diverse. What advice would you give someone considering joining Rotary?
So that's an easy one. let's do it. But ultimately, you know, it's important to go visit. All Rotary clubs are very, very open. They want visitors. They want members. I mean, it's kind of ingrained in leadership when you go to these Rotary conferences that, you know, membership. We talk about that in the chamber,
Yes,
right? I mean,
yes.
membership.
Yes.
So you've got to look and say, hey, what you can go to Rotary.org. You can look up the list of Rotary clubs. So it's like, what Rotary clubs are in your area that are convenient for you, be it where you live or where you work, what's convenient for you, and then you just need to go visit these clubs. And when you visit these clubs, then you can kind of get a feel for the culture, and everyone's a little different in that culture. And then welcoming, and then you just find where's one that fits, and you can visit a club 2 or 3 times before you have to commit to membership. So you could really go visit, you know, a club, you know, the 5 clubs in Loudon 10 to 15 times before you really commit, right? And even after you join, if you join and then you know you get 6 months down the road and you're like, hey, this really isn't a good fit for me, you can just transfer to another club. And so that's a nice thing. You know, one of the things about Rotary is you can only be a member of one club. You could be an honorary member, but you're really an active member of one club. But you have the ability to transfer. And so I would say you just really got to find the one that's right for you. Rotary's a big deal internationally. Like when you're a Rotarian, people.
Which is, I didn't know that until I got to be part of the group.
So it's a really big deal. I mean, we you know, we take ourselves a little serious sometimes here in the U.S., but when you travel internationally as a Rotarian, it is a really big deal to be a Rotarian, and they put a lot of stock in that accreditation. It's really what it is, because to be a Rotarian, you have to be brought in by a Rotarian, right? So it's a Rotarian essentially has to vouch for you for membership, and it says, hey, you're a good person, and that symbolism that we still do from the 1950s. I mean, Rotary's over 110 years old, but if that symbolism is still there internationally, it's a really big deal. So,
you might did mention something about that, Shawn, but what do you think are the most important qualities a Rotarian should have?
I think, you know, trustworthy. The most important qualities the Rotarian should have: trustworthy, being truthful, right? I mean, that's one of our tenets of Rotary is, you know, to tell the truth to all that's concerned, and to be truthful, to be reliable.
Yeah.
One thing that's really important is, you know, it's the same. It's in business too. If you say you're going to do something, then do something, right? So if you step up for something, you got to make sure you complete it, because in Rotary, what you're completing is going to help somebody, bring comfort to somebody, or save somebody. And so it's real people that you're dealing with. You know, and I always look for people that are fun too, because I think our culture is fun. It's like, hey, we want to first have fun and then do great things, and because we have fun, that's why people keep coming back over and over again. And it doesn't matter what it is. If we're making sandwiches, we're gonna have fun. If we're wrapping presents, we're gonna have fun. If we're picking up trash, we're gonna have fun. And then if we're, you know, having
doing event or fundraising, or
fun will always be in the description of what we want to do. And so I think that's really important for me. And you know, as we consider members, we always kind of think about how do they fit in with our culture? Are they going to be fun? And you chill.
Yeah, and could you share with us before we finish this great conversation today about the event coming up for us, the golf tournament? I know it's a little bit early, but I would like to maybe we can get some sponsorship. Absolutely.
So one of our annual events that we do, we have 2 signature annual events, and then we just added a third. But it's our annual golf tournament. It's a 9-hole golf tournament. This year it's on September 23rd at 1757, which is where we've always had it.
Yep.
It's really a kind of an event that's made for non-golfers. It's only 9 holes. Every hole has a theme, and there's a little bit of a cheat thing that you can do. But all the proceeds that we raise go to Ashburn Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department. AVFRD has been a great partner to us over the years. They always send out a couple of folks to be at one of the holes and greet the golfers. Sometimes we have a fire truck out there, sometimes we don't, depending on how busy they are. But they've been a great community partner, and we like to give back to them. So that's that one. And then of course, Mardi Gras will be next year on Fat Tuesday. So
Yeah.
we'll start pushing that information out maybe the next 4 or 5 months.
It's definite, and I will share our website for any information you need more. Shawn, thank you very much for your time today. We can't appreciate you in the county. I'll tell you, I'm one of the business owners who you've been a great mentor for me. So thank you very much for your time today to come share your story and about Rotarian.
Yeah, my pleasure. Go visit a Rotary Club.
Yeah, go visit us. We want to share.
Yeah.
We meet every month.
Yeah, we meet the second Thursday at 4:30 p.m. At Clyde's Willow Creek Farm in Providence, Virginia.
Yeah.
So we'd love to have you come visit us.
You have fun, and you can have food and drink on us.
On us.
Yeah.